Hello, you're listening to PPR. I am Dale Denton. The topic of the day, new beginnings, getting over losses, friends, life. We have our first caller. Yes, ring, ring, ring. How's it going?
Dale Denton.
Yeah.
You're my hero.
Oh, you're my hero.
Yay! You are good, man. Seriously.
Thanks, man.
I gotta admit,
Yeah.
It sounds pretty good.
It sounds real, dude.
Not bad, huh?
If I close my eyes, it does sound like that. Yeah, that's
You
the
are
voice.
on the radio.
That's the radio.
This is the radio.
That's a DJ.
No,
Hi,
but better.
man.
Like if you
Yeah.
were on it, I would listen to it.
Thanks, man.
High five. Seriously. I know this sounds weird, but can we be best friends?
TBTL.
Okay, well, look. If you don't believe in your product,
Right.
okay, you gotta substitute something you do believe in.
Okay.
Okay, for instance, when I'm out there and I'm pitching the pearl cream that keeps you looking young.
Right. I've seen that.
Do you know
What?
what I'm thinking?
You're not thinking about the pearl cream?
No, sir, I'm not.
What are you thinking about?
America. Everything she stands for.
If we wanted to, we could have our own business.
No, I agree. If we really wanted to, we could. It's just that, do we want to do that? Do we want to have a website and a blog and be like, this is what we did today?
No, it's too much work
Yeah.
and too expensive.
Hey, what happened?
Have a good show, dummies. What you do is so important.
Well, all rightly. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Thursday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
We're getting medium play on 3 independent radio stations in Central Europe.
My name is Luke Burbank. I am your host.
Guess where you just got into? Cool Guy Zone.
Coming to you once again from beautiful downtown Friendship, Wisconsin, where we have arrived at day 4 of the TBTL-a-Thon.
Thank you for being a 10.
That's right, we're here in Friendship, talking about friendship, and I have to say, experiencing it on an almost molecular level. We have made so many friends here in Friendship, Wisconsin, including our appearance this morning on Wisconsin 106, Central Wisconsin's leading music station, talking to our new friend, Bob, in the morning there. It's just been an absolutely wonderful time so far. And also, we've been raising some money for TBTL to boot. This is the one time out of the year where we get together to remind you that this thing is 100% listener supported. It can only happen because of the support and generosity of the tens of listeners. And thank you to everybody who's been doing that so far, and to those of you who will be taking part in that activity as the week goes on. This is episode 4517 in a collector's series.
Let the fun begin.
Another thing that we like to try to do on this special week is take your phone calls. 206-414-TBTL, 206-414-8285.
Ahoy, hoy.
We're also going to learn a little bit of the history of Adams County and this place, talking to our friend Michael, the president here of the Adams County Historical Society, which is where we've been broadcasting from specifically all week.
The past is history. The future's a mystery.
Also, it's a Thursday, a.k.a. a Blur's Day, and just because we're in special programming this week does not mean that we would forget about our friends and listeners who are having a birthday this week.
It's my birthday today.
So we'll celebrate that with all of you. And we'll celebrate this guy, longest-running Cobra of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ship.
This guy is a 4.5-foot tall pile of awesomeness.
He's Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Luke. I'm glad to be here again with you. I know I've been acting like a freak all morning. I apologize for that. I'm just really discombobulated today, and so I want to. I'm doing this on purpose. I'm level setting the listeners' expectations for my performance today.
Well, I don't want to get too specific.
You can get specific,
but Andrew could not locate 2 files at about, I don't know. You know, we're starting the broadcast at 12 p.m. Central Time here in Wisconsin, and at about 11:49. Andrew could not locate a couple of audio files.
I just want to say very important audio files that I will need later on. They're not even for today, but they were very important audio files that I'm going to need in a few weeks. and I was kind of freaking out about it.
And I believe that you did have backup recordings. You had those files
I did.
on a device. But what I think was troubling for you was the question of like, are my systems working? Is there a problem with my systems? Because as the listeners know, you are a very, very careful sort of data management person.
Yes.
You love your files, your organization. And if you can't find a couple of files that should be right where you left them, it calls the entire system into question.
That is really true. And also, again, I think we talked about this a lot yesterday on the show. I'm a belt and suspenders fella. And so whenever we record anything, I'm recording it directly into my computer, but then I record it as a backup onto my little Zoom recorder. And right before the show, even though I don't need these files for today's show, realizing that I didn't have 2 copies of these very important files, that I could not find the ones that were supposed to be living on my computer, I said we might have to start late today because I'm going to transfer the ones from my backup onto my computer so that I once again have 2 copies.
Yes.
You know, I wasn't transferring it so much, copying it. That's how, and I realized this is not exactly a healthy mind. There's one thing about being like careful and cautious, but I was going to be so distracted thinking there's only 1 copy of these files. And what if somebody comes in here? I mean, I don't think this would happen in friendship, but what if somebody were to come in here?
Maybe in Adams.
In the middle
Definitely
of
not in friendship.
No, yeah. This is,
in the Dells? Probably.
Oh my gosh. But they abscond. Just in the middle of the recording, just barge in here and abscond
And
with
grab
my
your Zoom
recorder. Then I don't have any files anymore. So I forced you guys to wait for me a little bit. Sorry we're up and running a little bit later than usual, listeners. That was because I needed to know that I have 2 copies of these important files. And I do now.
What a heist that would be.
If somebody just decided to come in here.
It's Don Cheadle.
Yes.
George
I
Clooney.
love this. Somebody unfolds themselves from underneath a little cart that was pushed through the hallway of a hotel.
Snatch your Zoom recorder and make off with our files. You know what, Andrew? You are like you're like the shepherd in the Bible.
Oh.
And his flock, if one sheep from his flock goes missing, he will search for that sheep until it is back reunited with the flock. Those audio files were a little sheep.
That's
and you as the shepherd didn't know where they were, and it was of vital importance that you get them back before you could move forward. I also would like to say to the listeners, you're welcome.
Oh.
It's Thursday, meaning this is the first time all week that we've gotten into file management talk.
Yeah. Wait,
We've
you're,
been trying
you're
to
welcome
present
for finally getting to it?
No,
you mean?
you're welcome that we were able to delay it for this long.
Oh, come on.
You're welcome that we have been,
You want to hear about my system?
we have been bursting with so much content here in Friendship, Wisconsin, that we have not had time to get bogged down in such things as file management.
See, I don't like the terminology. Bogged
Yeah,
down.
you're right. That's
bogged
like
down. We're just
loaded.
we're gliding. We're gliding through the conversation of file management. Do you want to hear about my tree, my folder tree, and where I save things and what the system
right
is?
after I introduce the third amigo in this whole thing, our friend and TBTL employee numero uno, John Sklarov, who is right over there with the headphones on.
Yeah,
just
looking good.
Absolutely. You got to hear the sound check today and everything. How are you feeling, my friend?
Actually terrible, because in this
no.
moment, I just had an awful realization, because I was boasting to you, Luke, this morning how I like to model myself after Andrew with my file management.
Yes.
And I found a photo of you and your mom that was adorable that I was going to include in the email that went out from you and your mom this morning for fundraising. And it's just in this moment talking about the file management and how I boasted about
You forgot to
I
put it in the
neglected
email.
to put the photo in. I'm going to share it on
Listen,
the
everyone,
worst.
if you got the email today, the TBTL-a-Thon email from me and my actual mother, Susie B., who wrote this, delete it immediately.
No, don't delete
We're
it.
going to
Don't-
send out... No?
No, I'll just post it to, like, social media or
Open
something.
it immediately.
Yeah.
But as you read it, and as your heart is warmed because of the love between me and my mother.
It is a very, very sweet note
It's
that your
super
mom
sweet,
sent,
super
and I
sweet.
really appreciate it.
Imagine, and if you're thinking, gosh, I should donate to this show. Luke's mom donates. I should donate. Just know that whatever amount you're going to do, kick it up by $5, imagining there was a cute photo in the email. Because that's what that was. That was going to tug on the heartstrings and the purse strings.
I really blew it. I'm sorry.
No,
this whole fundraiser is kaput.
Well, you see what happened here. John started his story by saying he looks... I mean, I don't know if you put it this way, but what I heard is you look up to me in a lot of ways in my file management.
Absolutely.
The fact that the mosquitoes don't bite you.
Yeah, that's right.
Honestly, we're all envious of that.
That's jealousy.
And
Andrew's
so when
blood
I
is what they
faltered-
call poison.
Yes.
And even the mosquitoes sense it.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes don't like Jim Beam.
That is true. Actually, let's get off this file management topic. But I'm sorry that as your role model, John, I'm sorry that I faltered, which then led you to falter.
Listen,
because
here's the
that's
thing.
what happened there.
We had we had a hectic morning.
We
okay,
did.
in
That's true.
fairness, it started at about 8 a.m. or so as we were sort of collecting up in the common area at our Airbnb, starting to sort of figure out what the morning was going to look like. We knew we were going to be featured on Wisconsin 106 and our new best friend Bob in the morning. But there was a little bit of confusion on our part about if we needed to be at the radio station at 8:30 or at 9. This was all around the question of like, were we going to go on air and try to answer the question to Ponder, or were we going to show up after it had been answered? It was a bit unclear. So we had decided as a group that it was probably 9. That was the time we were going to show up. And at about, I'd say 8:15, of course, we're listening to Wisconsin 106. Bob says, the guys from TBTL are going to be here at 8:30.
Yeah. Can I actually...
Now, our Airbnb is about 20 minutes away from the radio station.
Sorry to back up a little bit here, but also...
Is this more file management stuff?
Yeah, one of the reasons I'm discombobulated today, just generally speaking, is because I stayed up way too late last night and I drank way too many of those beers. What are those beers that you bought me, John?
They're New Glarus is the brewery.
New Glarus?
Yeah, it's my favorite beer. They brew and only distribute in the state of Wisconsin.
It's
so
really
it's
good.
special
Whatever,
stuff.
and I got whatever the light
Totally
ones are.
Naked.
Totally Naked. It's called. Anyway, it was. I had wait. I'm not gonna lie. And again, maybe I'm just level setting again, but I stayed up. You guys went to bed at some time, and
a little before midnight was when we went down. I
didn't realize it was that early, and then I know I stayed up at least an hour and a half after that because at some point I decided to re-listen to yesterday's entire episode of TBTL.
Nice.
So
it's a little quality control.
Yes, and we had to get up a little bit earlier than usual to be on the radio today, but I'm staying up later and later, apparently, during this adventure. And so last night, I'm guessing you could check, I guess probably around 1 a.m. or something, I texted both of you guys, secure that it wouldn't wake you. I think most people are okay getting texts at night, because I'm re-listening to the show yesterday, and I'm like, oh, Bob said to get there between 8:30 and 9. We went to bed, or you guys went to bed thinking we got to get up early so that we're there like 8:15 or 8:30. Then I'm re-listening to the show where he invited us on, and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, we have a little bit of extra time. Maybe that was the drunk brain telling me I could get a little extra sleep, right? And I'm like, oh, 8:39. We can just leave the house at 8:30. So I texted you guys that, and I assume you woke up to that new plan.
Yes, I did. And I was down for that plan until we heard Bob promoting us on his morning show in 15 minutes when we were going to need to hit a wormhole on the way there to somehow get there at the exact appointed time. So we jumped in the rental car. We raced there. John Sklarov, who's been sort of the team driver on this trip.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Very, very efficient. I saw you when we were pulling into Adams on Main Street. I saw there's 2 lanes. There was a car that was ahead of us. You got in the right lane. Like, listen, we cannot be slowed down by people that are just on
I passed from the right.
Thursday morning drive. No, John was like on the case, and then we got there
like the Duke boys.
We rolled up right as I forget the exact song that was playing, but anyway, it was Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh yeah, you were really into that. I've
Pride and Joy by Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Boy, again, we have been friends and coworkers for a long time now, and you still surprise me.
That's what
you said.
keeps the show
is
so interesting.
Like, this is my favorite Stevie Ray Vaughan song. I'm like, I couldn't name one.
So we roll up as the final notes of Pride and Joy by Stevie Ray Vaughan are playing, and then we walk up to the radio station, enter through the front door that is unlocked, and walk into the studio and just sit down with our pal Bob. And then we were off to the races, being featured on actual live over-the-air terrestrial radio morning show, which was so fun.
So cool.
Were either of you, neither of you seemed at all nervous, which kind of makes sense, but also I would have been unsurprised, really, for any of us, because it's not every day that we're sitting in a regular radio studio like that. I didn't think that we came off as nervous as we might have.
Well, I was a rolling 08.
That helped.
I don't know if
that probably took the edge off for you.
I don't
you were
think
still
so.
in a little bit of fog.
My brain was so foggy. I was actually really kind of disappointed in myself. Like,
I
had a really nice night last night, honestly. What I did while I was drinking, I almost said while I was drinking Totally Naked. What are these beers again? They're
the name, the brewery is New Glarus,
but if I say
is a Totally Naked is the name of the beer.
But if I say I'm drinking Totally Naked, that has a different connotation.
Just say New
well,
Glarus.
You could say I'm drinking Totally Naked while Totally Naked.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was. No, but I had a really
Bo
nice
Goff.
night. You guys know.
You get totally naked because you are totally naked. Anyway, keep going.
I love hanging out with you guys, but I also love my Andy times,
Yes.
right? So after you guys go to bed, I went outside. For some reason, the mosquitoes weren't biting me. I sat down on a chaise lounge. I watched the lake just like do its lake things.
Can I just mention that, like, you're doing the only rational thing, really, that anybody could do if they had the magical ability, as you have, to not get bitten by the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Because this Airbnb is, well, I'll be honest, it's a little funky. I figured out that I am definitely in the kids' room. Why? Because there is a baby monitor in there.
Oh, good.
And
Can I use that?
And a Spider-Man poster.
How would you
I'm actually
feel?
jealous of the
How did you
Spider-Man
not
poster.
see the Spider-Man poster?
It was just right there. It's surrounded by things like life just feels better at the lake and other such pillows.
Yeah.
But no, like we're in a really cool little spot. It's very, very beautiful. And you know me, and I like my stare in. There's nothing I would like to do more than to go sit out on the little deck and just stare at this lake. And I can't because the bugs are so kind of pervasive and intense. I could like slather my entire body down in some kind of a chemical that would make Rachel Carson cry. But I don't really want to do that, so I'm just staying inside. But you somehow are unaffected by these bugs, and so I don't. If I were in your situation, I would also be sitting outside, looking at the lake, enjoying it. So you were just doing the normal, reasonable thing.
I'm definitely enjoying it, but I'm starting to get insulted too. Like, well, what's wrong with me, bugs?
Yeah.
But it is strange. I was able to sit out there for about an hour and a half, just sit and stare and listen to my own voice on the podcast yesterday. So it was really good. But yeah, when we went in to bring it back to this radio station and our star appearance on it today, I will say that I was very, very foggy and kind of disappointed in myself for having this really special opportunity and being so foggy. But you said that
you
I
covered
pulled it off
well,
okay.
And you did great, buddy.
And John, you did a really nice job. Like
Thank
I
you.
thought is pleasantly shocked a term? I was pleasantly shocked at how long Bob kept us on. Bob
I
in the
know,
morning.
as our friend Phyllis Fletcher said, we swept 3/4 hours with him.
That's right. I figured we'd pop on. He'd say, "Hey, there's some guys in town with this podcast," and now the Eagles.
Yes, exactly.
We're talking to three guys. One of them brought the rock and roll edge to the Eagles. Speaking of which, here's a song by the Eagles.
Yes.
I thought it'd be a 5-minute hit, if that.
Yeah, me too.
And I was really enjoying getting to talk to him and kind of tell TBTL's story. But of course, this is where you, Andrew, are very hard on yourself, and you're saying to yourself, "Well, you don't necessarily love how you came off," or something, which again is totally not realistic and not reality. Where my brain goes in those situations is some guy who's in his truck somewhere in the area who was looking to tune in to hear some Tom Petty, and now he's hearing me talk about wait, don't tell me. And I'm like, okay, let's just get off the air now. Let's get back to enough talk. Let's get back to the rock. Let's give these. I'm sort of like, even though we should try to stay on as long as we can to promote our show and to promote the Thon and everything, which again, Bob was like so sweet.
Yeah.
Kept saying to folks like, go ahead and go to tbtl.net to support TBTL. I mean, what a mensch. But I was just thinking like, are we boring the living Tweedle out of the listeners of this radio station who just want to hear some music on their way to work?
And Bob was so sweet. He was like encouraging people to, like, people who don't know who we are,
Right.
who have no idea and don't want to know who we are. To be
They want
frank
to know
about it.
less about who we are.
He's telling people to go to our website and donate to our show.
Just for
Like,
being in friendship.
Yeah, not even just to like get new listeners, but just to like help support this TBTL-a-Thon.
Can I make you guys feel a little better? So I'm looking at this on the YouTube comments, and everyone, of course, these are our listeners, but they're saying how great it was, the people that tuned in. And I mentioned this to you guys off air. My wife doesn't listen to TBTL, but I mentioned to her that we were going to be on the radio show, and immediately afterwards, she texted me like, "You guys did great," and I was surprised she tuned in. But like,
So this is, I guess, kind of informative for you, John.
Yeah.
In order to get Jess to listen to whatever we're doing, we need to figure out how to get back on terrestrial radio.
We just need to become mainstays on Bob's show.
Yeah, I guess so. What is the what differentiates that? Is it because she was excited because it is over the air? Is she just like a hardcore
I think just because
broadcast?
I texted her, I was like, "Hey, we're doing this special thing," and so
it was also really fun. A shout out to all of the tens who jumped on, and also to Bill in Toronto. Bill's not in Toronto anymore.
Kingston.
Good call.
Our friend, formerly Bill in Toronto, now Bill in Kingston, for throwing the link up on the Facebook page. There were a ton of tens that were streaming it, and it was really fun to see that. And I would just say, if you enjoyed that show, if you're enjoying Bob in the Morning, stick with it, right? Like that's That's a fun listen.
It really is. Like, I'm a legitimate fan of it. I just, a few things here. First of all, I don't want to skip over the part that you told in the story, Luke. I just want to dwell on it for one more second. I don't think ever in my life have I turned on the radio and heard over the broadcast that I'm running late to be at the radio station. Like, that was a hell of a feeling.
Yeah.
And I did not realize how much love Bob was going to be giving us on the air before we even got there. He was.
Yes.
I'm hearing him promote our segment. I thought, like you, I thought we would just sort of sneak in and say a quick little hello, and then he would, like you say, play that mud crutch. But no, he was like, seemed really psyched. And so, like, we're driving, and of course we entered the contest again.
I think you had the best answer, Andrew.
That's right. So what was the question again?
The question was 37% of people say they will not return to a restaurant because of this.
That's right. And a lot of the answers were, well, there's a hair in your food, or bad coffee, or dirty bathrooms.
And I actually think I answered it correctly. I think I said no paper towels.
But you didn't submit it.
I didn't submit it, but I'm just actually, I'm realizing this in the moment. I think I actually guessed the correct answer, or did I say no toilet paper?
Maybe you said no. I don't remember.
I just shouted it out into the void as we were still at the Airbnb.
Bob does not check the void. You
Oh,
have
really?
to email.
He did say that he doesn't have time to check the void, and also he doesn't want to stare into it because if he does it for too long, it'll stare back.
That's right.
But Andrew, as we're in the car now and we're still listening to the radio station, by the way, there's a kid fully dabbing on Main Street
I love this.
in Friendship, Wisconsin, and you absolutely love to see it. As we're in the rental car and we're racing to the radio station and we're listening to the radio station on the real radio in the rental car, which also just for some reason it makes me giddy. And then Bob is reading the wrong answers and he says, and from Andrew, people don't go back to the restaurant because they don't play Wisconsin 106.
Yeah, you like that?
And I didn't know that was
totally
you.
pandering, but I don't care.
I was like, and I stopped, like you were talking.
Yeah, I did. I talked over my own shout out.
And I said, that was a funny answer. And you said, what was it? And I told you, you're like, oh, that was me.
Yeah, that was me. That was me. And so I did not win. So again, 3-time loser here joining you today, but a
You've
winner
still got
in
tomorrow.
so many ways. I want to say also, so we're getting out of the car and we're just walking up to the radio station as we've described. I mean, one of the things that is so charming about this radio station, aside from its own independence, which is really cool, is that it sits right on Main Street in Adams and the studio is right in the front room with a big, glass window so that Bob or the other DJs can stare out onto Main Street. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was just a woman, we don't know her, looking like maybe she was walking to work or something, and as she walks by, you can hear the radio too, and Bob is talking, and she walks by and gets a big smile and waves through the window, and I just had this moment, I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I'm like, this woman probably walks this way every morning and waves at Bob, and I'm just like, that is the life. That is the radio life.
The dream.
Absolutely. So anyway, thanks to Bob over at Wisconsin 106 and to the listeners of that station who tolerated us.
Yes.
And to the 10s who really showed up and showed out. And we're emailing him about mugs, wanting to get Wisconsin 106 mugs. Speaking of the TBTL listeners showing up and showing out, remember when we had a really fun Zoom with them last night?
Yes, we did.
It feels like a lifetime ago.
Exactly.
It feels like many a New Glarus ago.
I was going to say, it feels like a 12-pack ago.
But it was absolutely such a fun night and such a fun chance to get to talk to people and see cool stuff that's music adjacent. So it was American 10's got music stuff.
America's 10's got music stuff. Yeah.
And it was folks, because this is the Thon theme this year is banding together. We feel like we got to really look out for each other and stick together during these incredibly fractious and scary times. The thank you gifts are all kind of music related or music adjacent. And so the Zoom was folks just showing us either maybe a concert T-shirt or tickets that they. There was one listener who had like this really elaborate kind of scrapbook of all the concerts that she had been to. We got to see what Andrew's mixtape work looked like when he was in college, which, by the way, honestly, high level,
A+,
A++, incredible. Andrew made a mixtape for his friend
Jessica
that was like the cover of it was like a crossword puzzle kind of thing in the cassette.
I think I
tape
cut a crossword puzzle out of a magazine and then made that the cover of the tape. And I think I wrote the name of, I don't know what it was called, but I wrote the name of the tape in the crossword
Just
puzzle.
so creative and cool.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And just getting to, again, interact with folks who are probably not going to be making it out to the kind of get together we're having tomorrow afternoon down there at the lake. So it was just fun to get to check in with folks, and thank you to everybody who participated. And it was fun to get to see our friend Simeon in Indianapolis with a banjo
that his grandfather never played.
It was his grandfather's banjo that his grandfather was terrible at playing, which was one of my favorite stories I've heard in the longest time. So anyway, thanks to everybody who were part of that last night. There was something, Andrew, that you were inadvertently a part of or unknowingly a part of yesterday, a little experiment that I've been running, okay?
Okay.
About to the question of, am I Wisconsin old? I think of myself as Washington middle age. But, of course, when we were at the grocery store our first night here, the checker, the kid that was checking out me and my groceries, he asked if I wanted the senior discount, which kind of took my breath away. And so I was wondering if maybe there's something about me here in the state of Wisconsin where I appear older, or maybe it's just because I am older. So yesterday we were at the cafe, A Family Affair, which is just like one door over. It's where we've been eating multiple meals. Shout out to Jackie over there.
That's right.
Jackie, no fan of Pioneer Days.
Sounds somewhat arduous.
Jackie's teacher, okay, if you've been following along this week, it gets a little complicated, but stay with us. Remember that we had Harriet from the newspaper here on, I think it was Tuesday maybe.
Yes.
Harriet was, of course, before she was a high-flying journalist, was a teacher in a 2-room schoolhouse, and then later in they upgraded to a 3-room schoolhouse, and said that she had taught a lot of the kids in the town. And so when we were having our lunch and our server was this awesome person named Jackie, one of you asked Jackie if she had Harriet as a teacher. And she sure did.
Yes.
It was amazing.
And then she started saying how, and I was a little confused as to how that kind of became a story about.
I wonder if it was Harriet's idea to do this Pioneer Days
thing. It was Pioneer Days, and I guess like the kids had to like make their own clothes that were like,
They did not have to make their own clothes.
Yeah, she said that the girls had to sew their own skirts. Yeah,
and they were limited what they could eat because that had to be like only stuff available.
And they had to carry their lunches in literally a bucket with a string
Yeah,
on it.
definitely
And
that
for
part.
2 days they did this. These kids lived that way.
That sounds awesome. I would pay extra for
no
that if
way.
I saw it advertised on Instagram.
Oh,
you could
no
absolutely
way.
see me
Yes.
telling you one day on the show that my new thing is I'm living like a pioneer.
Yes.
TBTL-a-Thon 2026.
I'm on the pioneer diet.
So Jackie was no fan of Pioneer Days. I think she was a fan of Harriet's. But anyway, one of our other visits to the restaurant, we were ordering breakfast yesterday, you and I, Andrew, and the server came over and she asked you what you wanted and you ordered it. And then she turned to me and said, "What would you like?" And I said, "I'll do the senior discount, or I'll do the senior special."
And she just started writing it.
She started writing down the senior special. I said, "I'll have the senior special." And what I expected her to do was faint, was drop her little pad.
Oh,
and
darling.
pen
Call you darling, maybe?
right before she fainted.
Yes, right.
Because of
sweetie.
the pure shock of a obviously virile, vigorous, and vital man such as myself, even joking about getting the senior special.
I will say this, and this isn't a critique, it's just a note. You didn't let it sit too long. Well, I guess you didn't want to like mislead her for
I didn't
too long.
want her. I didn't want to waste too much of her time.
But you just saw that she didn't blanch, she didn't
just
blink,
started
she just started
writing
writing it
down
down. Then you said,
senior
no,
special.
I'm just joking.
I didn't say I was joking.
You just said, no, actually, I'll have the eggs.
Hey, I pretended to change my mind.
Can I ask, because I opted out of this meal, so I missed this whole experience.
Yes.
Did she later reference anything about it? Was just like there and gone.
She would have, here's what I gathered from this. She would have absolutely, without a doubt, brought me the senior special and would not have batted an eye.
What if you asked for a kid's special? Like a kid's meal?
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked.
I think that would have probably caused her to faint.
Exactly. What was
Just as she's getting up from her initial fainting, now she refaints.
What was on the senior special, and
Nothing
why
I
didn't
wanted
you
to
want
eat.
it?
No, it was like a pile of bacon and sausage. And
Oh,
all
okay.
that.
Sign me up.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a bunch of stuff I generally don't eat. So I didn't want the senior special, but I wanted to see what the reaction would be. And the reaction was, absolutely, sir.
You know, I'm looking at the menu online here now, and it says that the senior special is for seniors in high school, actually. So actually, maybe you should be taking this as a compliment.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
How do you do, fellow youths?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, I would
Rock
like to
and
mention
roll.
I did have the skateboard with me and the backwards hat and the shirt that said music rock or rock band.
I love the idea of somebody trying to sound young and saying rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but like, I don't know. Maybe maybe it would be easier than I would have thought to just start to sort of like identify as a person who's maybe north of 65 now. Maybe if I was going through this, the town that I live in and asking for the senior special at the diner, they also would just give it to me without batting an eye. Maybe they don't really care if they give you the senior special. But I wanted her to laugh or be shocked, and she was neither.
But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a senior either, though. Of
There
course.
is absolutely
Yes.
nothing wrong. I'm just a little bit, I'm a decade shy of that sort of stuff, and it is, for me, an adjustment process to realize that I am getting relatively close to that, and that people are trying to see me that way.
Yeah, because like you mentioned earlier, the recurrence of this now being a thing happening here in Friendship. It's not like if that was the one thing.
It had never happened to me outside the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah. You were fishing for this one. So are you going to continue this? Or are you going to kind of keep
Yes.
on just seeing if anybody blanches when you mention senior specials and whatnot?
Yes,
Could you get me the senior special? Obviously, I couldn't order it for myself because
No.
they would faint. But it sounds good, and it sounds like stuff I would eat. So maybe next time I could get, you can order it and we'll swap.
Are you saying you would have liked it more than the marinara omelet that you got?
That I don't want to besmirch any business around here, but I will say that
we wouldn't dare.
I
That's not why we
ordered
came here.
an Italian sausage omelet, and I think that I thought the sausage inside was going to be Italian sausage, but I guess it was an Italian omelet with sausage, and so it had I guess marinara sauce covering it, which isn't usually how I would usually eat my eggs, and so that was a surprise. I did kind of scrape most of it off.
We need to get eyes. I'm Googling Italian sausage omelet to see if the kind of default setting is for it to have a sauce on it, and I'm seeing it in a few places.
Oh, yeah.
I'm seeing it may just be a thing that comes kind of sauced.
Yes, exactly.
So are you saying that it wasn't on that? You didn't remember noting that on the menu?
I feel like I would have noted that, but I don't know. We got a lot going on. I'm not sure. Maybe it said. I do feel like, I think I said this to you. I'm like, if you're gonna put marinara sauce on an omelet, you need to kind of put that in the description on the menu. So that's why I feel like my brain must have just not registered it or something. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely.
Of
We
that.
love
And it
that
was a
place.
good omelet. I just didn't want the marinara sauce.
It is also a restaurant. I think this might have been referenced on the Zoom last night, where they tried to upsell John to some moonshine yesterday.
Andrew.
Oh, yeah, that's
It was
me.
Andrew.
Yeah,
At about,
yeah.
what was the hour of the day?
Oh, I don't know. They just knew I had that look about me.
Yes, they were like, this
It was
is
after this meal that you.
this guy is getting dangerously low on new Glarus in his system.
Exactly. The mosquitoes are starting to bite him.
Exactly. Let's
He
get
needs
him-
he needs more poison
let's
in
get
his
him back
pores.
up there.
Yeah, exactly. Have you had the Italian omelet, Michael?
Hold on, I've got a sound effect I've got to activate first here. We've got a top story coming in hot here. And not just
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
not just a top story, but this is Friendship in the News.
News.
How did I make the worst audio drop somehow even worse?
What happened?
I just
Did
didn't
the
have
computer just kind of hiccup?
No, I had the volume down on our Friendship in the News sound effect.
Okay.
This gets almost like the Darth Vader is going to come
That's
try
what
to.
I was going to
Darth
say.
Vader's about to strangle somebody from 30 paces.
Exactly.
All week we've been talking about friendship in the news, whether it's the town of Friendship or people who are in friendships. And we're very excited to talk to one of our new friends here at TBTL Land, Michael Gock, who is the president here of the Adams County Historical Society, also a journalist, an author, and to me, most interestingly, log cabin builder. A log cabin that you are still living in with your wife?
Yes.
How long ago did you build it?
Well, we're still working on it. But
After how many
We
years?
started in 1971.
Wow.
And you were a back to the lander?
Yeah, back in the day, yes. Before we get into my story, though, I wanted to point out to Andrew.
Yes, please.
that here he is in Wisconsin.
Yes.
And why he didn't order a brat.
Yeah, no.
Omelet.
You should. Do they have it there? Do you eat at the
I don't
family
know,
affair?
but yes, I'll bet they do.
Okay, I'll look. I'll tell you what. I love brats.
And this is, that's our state sausage, and you're ordering an Italian.
So to answer my question, you have not had the Italian
you
omelet.
should have gone to Chicago.
Well, listen, I have to
Fair enough.
Michael, because I know you're relatively new to listening, I have to fill you in on some of Andrew's biographical details.
Yes.
He consumes more sausage per week than just about anybody, anybody in North America. It's a big part of his personality. So the irony that we've come here to the land of the brat and he's not eating the brats is actually pretty rich.
There's more shame. This is a true story. Michael. I recently was prescribed an at-home heart monitor from my doctor, and that is directly related, I'm sure, to the sausage that I eat.
eating.
Yes,
He's
exactly.
from Ohio. His chutches were from the old country. There was a lot of sausage eating, a lot of Polish sausage consumption going on in his childhood, and he's carried that over into adulthood.
Anyway.
That's another thing, of course, because we do have a relatively new Polish community here in Adams County. And if you drive up the road from where you're staying, there is a Polish restaurant and deli that will
We were on the phone with them the other day.
Polish sausage.
I know that actually sounds good. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Maybe tonight we get some pierogies there at the lodge.
Yes.
Great.
Kielbasa and kapuska is what you should ask for.
So Michael, you're originally from Illinois.
Yes,
but
I am.
You came out here. You said you.
I'm from the south side of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a lot of people from Illinois here, but they're not the same.
I see. I appreciate this. I'm with you. Like, I'm from Seattle, and people will say, if I'm out in the world, they'll be like, I'm from Seattle. I'll go, oh, wow, where? And then they'll name a place that's pretty far away from Seattle. Now, listen, I don't begrudge them that, because if you are from Andrew, when the first time Andrew ever heard his father lie.
Yes, because we were in a tiny little town called Valley City, Ohio, which was like an hour outside of Cleveland. But I was a little kid and we were on vacation somewhere, I think Florida, and I heard my dad was like meeting some other fella his age, and the guy said, "Where are you from?" And my dad's like, "Cleveland." And later on, because my lying was a verboten in my house, and I remember kind of having a concerned conversation with my dad later. I'm like, "Dad, why did you lie to him? We're from Valley City." And he had explained to me this exact concept that people don't know what Valley City is. You say Cleveland.
No, that's true.
But you're not. You want it to be known that you are South Side Chicago. So then it seems like to come all the way out here to Adams County and then build a log cabin with no power and like kind of that seems like an extreme shift in lifestyle for you and your wife.
Well, actually, I did it alone to begin with.
Oh, so you actually convinced someone to marry you?
How? Yeah,
without electricity.
Yes. Well,
I mean that's impressive.
I convinced her to come to a 2-room log cabin without electricity, without running water. Would run if she could pump, and wood heat. And she said, "Oh, yeah, why not?" This was a young woman who was thinking about going to med school, and because she was working in a hospital in Chicago, and it was just my appeal.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's listening. I hope it was overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, we've been experiencing it this week because you have been our connection to the Historical Society. You and I were emailing initially about this, and you took this idea before the board of the Historical Society. And I'm going to be honest with you. We were turned down by my little league that I used to play in as a kid to sponsor a team because they listened to the show.
Oh,
so we were slightly sweating that maybe if you were going to play the show for the board, you might grab the wrong episode and they might turn us down too. So we are very appreciative.
No, I didn't.
Oh, smart.
I didn't do that.
Smart. You
didn't
play it.
I
How did you describe it to the board?
Well, I said it's a podcast, and most of us are of that generation where podcasts we don't pay too much attention to them. So I explained what that is first of all, and then
you're like, it's like a radio show no one listens to.
Yeah. There you go.
It's like a radio show you can skip.
And I said the premise of the show is based on the friendship between two guys. And so they travel around the country talking about, whatever they want to talk about, obviously.
Yeah, clearly.
It's not necessarily tied to the place you're in. And I said they wanted, since friendship was important to the show, they wanted to do a show in friendship. And they looked up places named Friendship around the country and ended up here because this is Friendship, Wisconsin. We're the friendliest friendship in the country, and that was all I needed. They said, "All right, we'll welcome these guys."
Great sales pitch. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, really and truly, thank you for advocating for us. And we really have hit upon, not that it has to be a competition, but what has to be the best of the 4 places in America that are named Friendship. Our show, I feel, is, even though we're from the West Coast, we're sort of culturally Midwest. We've got one of our, co-founders is in St. Paul. We've got a lot of listeners in the Twin Cities. We've got a lot of listeners in Wisconsin. It's just a folksy kind of thing that we do. So when we were looking at the different places that have a friendship, we thought, the Wisconsin one is going to be probably good. And boy, has it ever delivered. I
Yeah.
mean, what an amazing town and an amazing bunch of people. Can we start with asking who named this place Friendship? How did this place get started?
Well, it's named by people who came from Friendship, New York. And
So they were totally out of ideas.
That was it.
Yeah, well, that wasn't unusual as Americans came west. I mean, we also have a Rome town up in the north, and we have a Preston in the east, and a Big Flats that's also named after towns in western New York. I don't know. It seemed in the 1850s nobody wanted to live in New York. They got on the Erie Canal, the Great Lakes, Lakes.
We've got a New Yorker over there,
and here they were. Well, he doesn't live there anymore either.
Touche.
yeah.
So anyway, they got on the boats and landed in Milwaukee and got in an ox cart and settled on new land. That was what they wanted to do.
What were they coming out here for? They wanted cheaper land. They wanted more freedom. What were they seeking?
Well, they were seeking, first of all, inexpensive land. The land had just been taken away from the Menominee in 1848.
Well, yeah, it's inexpensive
and
because
so
it's been
the federal
stolen from
government
someone.
had it right, and you could buy it. You could buy land from the federal government in those days for $1.25 an acre. So $100 would buy you 80 acres, which is a good-sized farm for those days. And that was it, really. And the Homestead Act didn't come along until afterwards, so we don't have really much Homestead Act land in the county. But they came earlier and they bought it, $1.25 an acre, if you could get to the land office in Stevens Point before anybody else did.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean just because it was first come, first served, basically?
Yeah.
And
right
so-
after the surveyors came through, your land was marked. I'm sometimes amazed at how they could actually do this, because the surveyors were not, they didn't mark every little plot of land.
Yeah.
But you say, I want that, and you'd go to the land and say, I want that. And one of the things that happened, of course, was those people that they called in those days, they were speculators.
Right.
One of them for Friendship was a guy named Burbank.
My great uncle.
Your cousin, Willard.
Yeah.
He actually came here and he bought the water power site. Because that was good. If you had that water power, you knew a village was going to grow around it.
Yeah.
That's a common story throughout the United States. But he built the mill, hired somebody to run the mill, and flipped it. And moved back to New York.
Well, this is how I know I'm not related to him, because nobody in my family has ever been good at business.
Well,
that would be a one-off.
Yeah, well, who knows? We don't know what the buy and sell was.
But so then you were telling me something yesterday about what they call here the turnaround, which was like, Friendship was a place where people were moving, like you said, to get affordable land and they couldn't really grow anything because it was all sand. So they had to learn how to grow crops in the sand and stuff. And then you have a sort of population drain because you have the Industrial Revolution. All the jobs are in the cities and factories and stuff. But then Social Security comes along?
Well, it's a number of things that happen after World War II. That America becomes suburbia. And so what we have become is just an extended suburbia. People bought, first of all, second homes. Right after you talk about Social Security, that really was the first generation that was eligible for Social Security. This is the World War I generation, people born around 1900, 1910. Well, they could now retire comfortably. Oh, and they also had Medicare.
Oh, what a novel idea.
Yeah, and so many people came here, built small houses that were weekend places, then turned them into year-round residences when they retired.
So the population exploded.
Exploded. In 1960, there was about 7,000 people in Adams County, and now we're up to 21,000.
Wow.
Well, it's a lot of years have passed since then, but those are full-time residents. But on summer weekends like today, starting tomorrow, the population will double at least.
Wow.
Now, I have a question that you might be the perfect person to answer. Each day at 12, as we have just been about to turn our microphones on and start the show, some crazy whistle blows from across the street.
It's the siren.
What is the purpose of that?
It's to test the siren in case we have a tornado, every day. Yes.
They blew it at 12:01 today. Whoever's in charge of it was
they
slacking.
were off. Well, yeah.
What happens if a tornado comes at 12:01? Everybody will just think that.
Everybody will, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you're in the wrong place. For years, I had an office building, little house about a block away from here. So I was more in the residential area, and every day at 12 o'clock, when the siren went off, all the dogs barked.
Oh.
You can't hear them here, but if you
so they
if
run
you were
that
just,
every day.
Yeah. We are ready. We are prepared.
I love it.
Are we in tornado country? Have tornadoes ever moved through here?
Yeah. Huh. Not as much say as Iowa or Illinois, but yeah, that's possible. We have big winds, knock down the trees, and
so you've written books about Adams County, which is the county we're in. You had a business where you were sort of historian for hire. Mm-hmm. What is there anything that's a particular note about this place? I mean, everyone in America's got a story, but you've become very, very focused on the history of this area. What about it is interesting to you?
Well, it's for me. When I came here, I was just looking as a place to I wanted to leave where I was, and this was the middle. This was the middle of nowhere, and actually, really, in those days, it really was the middle of nowhere. I mean, I lived on a sand road in those days, and so, but the things have improved and gotten crowded. We have neighbors.
It used to just be you and the mosquitoes.
And then Barbara came along, and she was a comfort.
Yeah, I bet.
Where did you stay when you were building your house? Where did you stay?
I had a big old-fashioned canvas tent.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
The kind that we had that as a family growing up, and if it was raining and you touched the inside of it, the water would come through.
Yes,
that's what I remember being a kid. They always warned you about
don't touch the inside of the tent.
Don't touch the tent.
Why. So
that's
it's a real thing. Huh?
Yeah, it's a real thing. I learned not to do that very quickly.
Really?
Yeah, it was big enough for one guy. What the heck? It was 10 by 12 or something. That's
in the Wisconsin winter and summer.
Well, I stayed in. See, that's how I ended up meeting my wife, because after Thanksgiving, I would then go back to Chicago because I needed a job. I needed some money.
Yeah.
And so I had a job down there till spring. And on one of those times, I happened to meet Barbara and regaled her with how wonderful life would be. Living, by then I was out of the tent. It actually was the first year I was out of the tent. I'd actually finished the house so that, and there she was. I could take her up and show her this cabin.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you came here because you kind of wanted to get away from city life and all that stuff.
I was reliving Henry Thoreau.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That was my.
But then at some point you became very fascinated with the area and with sort of preserving the history of this place, and I'm just curious, what is it about this place that is special to you or interesting or of note for our listeners who may never come through Adams County?
Well, the thing about it is, first of all, there is the landscape, which I fell in love with. We're pretty flat, and it is the sand and the wetlands and the some people call it scrubby woods, but I love jack pine forest. It is that, and then when you come here, like you ask me, well, why did you come here? I find myself in looking at the history of the place, always asking, well, why did they come here? Yeah. And going back to the 1850s, and then you come a little later, where you have immigrants from Eastern Europe.
The Bohemians?
Yeah, the Bohemians in particular, but Poles as well.
I have to say,
Germans.
My most recent ex-wife, and I have to be specific because there are multiple, was Bohemian by extraction, and I thought that she was making that up.
No.
I didn't know that was a thing until I was upstairs here at the museum.
Yeah.
And there's a traditional garb of somebody who was Bohemian who was here. I literally thought that she had just misheard someone.
Did you think it was more of a lifestyle?
It's the Czech. Yes, it's the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
But it was the Kingdom of Bohemia in those days.
Uh-huh.
So
those were some of the early folks here.
Yeah. Well, later on, and they settle again on this poor land, and sometimes it's a sad story that they tried to make a go of it and couldn't, and had to leave. And by the 1920s, so much of the land was abandoned that it fell to the largest landowners in the county up until fairly recently were the paper companies, because they grew trees on it and then turned the trees into paper. Then the Wisconsin paper industry really went bust, so that's no longer the case. But that's that story in many ways repeatedly of people living on infertile ground. And however, some of them stay, many of them stay. And it's their story, is how they made a living here, what they did, the specialty crops that they had to grow, the community that they established involving all those one-room country schools, the churches, the community organizations like the Western Bohemian Federation. The Bohemian Hall is still standing down on it's on the road towards the high school. And that was a place that was a meeting hall and a dance hall. And up until the 1970s, if you wanted to get married, that was a hall you could use.
Now, you don't strike me as an overly corny or sentimental guy. So I don't know if this question is even worth asking, but do you feel that it has an impact on a town to name the town Friendship in how the people relate to each other? Like, we are feeling it, but also we're just visiting, and we're a kind of a novelty, I think. Everyone has been so friendly to us. I'm wondering, do you think there's an actual, like, sort of trickle-down effect of living in a place called Friendship?
I like to think that. I like to think that, but you have to remember here that Friendship is a very small part of our county.
Yeah, you warned me of that.
So
early on.
and you have the boundaries, the 650 people or so, but of course there are people who live on the edge, just over the property, just over the municipal border. So the community is actually larger, and I do think yes that it's almost like a reactive thing when someone is nice to someone. They'll say, "Well, we're in Friendship."
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what they say when they're not nice. But,
when they go over like
then
Adams.
then they
something.
say you're from Adams.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You brought a some kind of like looks like a, I don't know. Yeah, this looks like something that might be like from a very early civilization.
Well,
what
actually,
is this stone that you brought?
Well, we are
in?
an historical society, and our mission is to collect and preserve and share the history of our county, and it begins with items like this. This is there's a great story about this. Someone brought it in about a year ago, as people do. They bring.
And let me explain for people that are listening to this on the podcast.
It's a stone tool.
It's a gray kind of stone tool that almost looks like one of those Easter Island heads, but very, very small. You could hold it in one hand.
You would put a handle on it.
Okay.
You'd tie a handle on it.
Okay.
And as you can imagine, you had some heft to yourself to swing this. Anyway, the story is that there's a fellow owns some acreage down near Rattlesnake Bluff, down the highway.
That's one of the
13.
last places I would move.
Yeah, exactly. I'll stay in Friendship, not Rattlesnake.
It's a great place to hike.
I'm eyeing a place in Black Widow, crawling up your pants, Wisconsin.
Right. All right, there you go. That's right. And so anyway, he had there's the bluff, but there's also marsh around it.
Okay.
And it was common back, and this would be the 1950s, early 60s. It was still common in those days if you wanted to clear land, move stumps out, or even create a little pond on a wetland, you use dynamite.
Oh.
That was again, wasn't unusual. You could go buy dynamite at the local hardware store.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was just particularly in northern Wisconsin, but even here, if you had stump land, you wanted to clear it, that was one way to do it.
Wow.
Anyway, there was a man who owned a land down near Rattlesnake Bluff was wanted to wanted to detonate a wildlife pond.
Yeah.
And so he packed some dynamite in the ground and went off, and this appeared. Now, I don't know, it would have been a lot of dynamite to send this.
Maybe too much dynamite.
But at least appeared, and it stayed in the family for years, probably on the mantle someplace or some shelf back there, and then Dad died, and the daughter said, well, who wants this stuff anymore? We'll give it to the Historical Society.
Well, what is
which
it?
is pretty common. So anyway, we took a picture of it and sent it to the state archaeologist, who said that, yes, this is a stone tool that is anywhere. She said, without actually seeing it and handling it, she couldn't be more precise, but she said it's somewhere between 9,000 and 1,000 years old.
Whoa. Holy moly.
And
so this would have been like a Native
could get the
American.
senior
This would have
discount.
been
Oh yeah, definitely.
the Menominee?
Well,
before them.
the predecessors of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of it was a tool? Do you have a sense of what it was used for?
Well, it's if it really is as old as.
Is it possible Jesus used it?
No, well, it's older than Jesus.
Oh, okay.
And he wasn't a violent guy.
No.
It could have been used as a weapon. Although again, you'd have to, or it could have been used. I like to think of this, that back in just after the glaciers here, and we're on the glacial divide right here, not far away. Mastodons, mammoths roamed these territory. Yeah. So I like to think that an ancient hunter killed one, and this is how they smashed into the bones. Because mammoth bones are pretty big, pretty tough.
Yeah.
And this is the sort of thing you would use to crush something, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Maybe 10,000 years old, maybe 9,000 years old.
Yeah, that's what she said, and maybe older, but
almost as old as TBTL.
It looks like the kind of thing that
it qualifies for the senior discount.
That's what it looks like the type of thing where if you had a roommate who had a much better kind of bathroom situation in the Airbnb,
and if you were relegated to the lousy part of the Airbnb,
and you really wanted that bedroom,
you might sleep with that under your pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have to look at how this was made with stone tools.
Amazing.
And this is hard granite. This is not easy to work. And look at the beautiful job they did.
The precision of it, how round it is.
And then you had to have, again, to attach it to anything, you had to have a hefty forked branch, and then you tied it with animal sinew. And think of what you had to know, the skill to be able to do that. So it didn't fall apart the first time you raised it and hit it on and dropped on your head. So that's the kind of stuff we have. And we have numerous articles like this. But, we have all this history here in our area, and we have stuff. People bring us stuff. It's great.
You've spent so much of your life and your time dedicated to documenting this place and to history and thinking about history. This also seems like kind of a dumb question, but why do you think history matters?
Oh, well, now good. You'll get the pulpit lecture now.
Okay. We've got some birthdays we've got to celebrate.
And we have some callers too. We should really check in with.
So are we running out of time? Anyway, well, first of all, it's small d democratic. That the story, our story, is worth telling and collecting and preserving. Everyone's story is. You don't have to be a radio personality. You don't have to be
Bob in the morning.
You don't have to be You don't have to be
the
star running back for the Packers. And you could just be an ordinary, everyday person who gets through life and whose story is worth remembering.
Yeah.
And what we do as a historical society is, we're here in the present, and obviously we're working with materials from the past. But then what we're doing with that is that we're sending a message to the future. We're saying that this is something that we in 2025 value, and maybe we hope it'll be around another 10,000 years, and someone will say, "Wow, they saved that, they preserved that. That was valuable."
It says something about us that we have an interest in the past. It says something interesting about us at this moment.
We have an interest in the future, because really that's why we're doing this. That's why any historian does his or her work, because you're not really doing it for all the people who are gone. You're doing it, well, first of all, to educate the people of today, but then tomorrow. It's always the message down that matters.
Yeah. How do people, if they're coming through this area, how do they visit? How do they get a hold of you all? How do they help support this place?
Well, that is one difficulty that is happening in our community and rural communities in general. We're aging out. We have a problem that we're an all-volunteer organization, and we need more volunteers. And just to give you, we have 9 people on our board of directors, and we're an active group. We have to be. 6 of us, for sure, maybe 7, are older than 75 years old. So we are looking, someone like you, hey, walks you, we want to throw in, someone your age comes through the door, we want to throw a net over you and say, and say, stay and help us, especially.
You're making me feel young again, which I appreciate. I'm having a tough week.
Especially, that's right. Things are, actually since technology has changed, as you know, changed so much. We would like to be able to use this, and we can. You know, we're up to date. We have a video that you didn't watch. We have a 20-minute history video.
Yeah.
And that's a step forward from just reading a book. And we'd love to have an up-to-date website and be able to communicate with people and share our message in that way. But we just don't have people.
Well, I will say that having been upstairs and checked out all the stuff up there as well, this place is so fascinating. And I mean, other than the name being Friendship, there's no reason why I should be now as weirdly invested in a city in Wisconsin, town in Wisconsin, than I now am. But if any of our listeners are passing through, definitely look this place up. Also, Michael, we wanted to say thank you to the Society for having us here this week by presenting you all with a little check that is really not from us. It's from our listeners and donors, because we don't really have any money that has not been donated to us from them. So so we wanted to just say thank you.
Great, thank you.
We tried to get an oversized check, but they don't make
one of those big ones.
Yeah, and also those are an absolute hassle to get put into the ATM. So we'll just, but we just wanted to say thank you so much to you.
Great, thank you,
and to Pat and Jerry and Marilyn and everybody else here who has been, just so nice in hosting us and making us feel.
Is it gauche if I tell how it's mentioned the?
Why don't we? We'll just say it's a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot. Actually, it is a lot. We do get donations this large, but many of our donations are smaller than this. So
this has just been I mean, really probably the most fun and informative week of doing the TBTL-a-Thon that we've gotten to do, and it wouldn't have happened without you all here at the Historical Society, and you specifically, Michael,
thank you
for hooking it all up.
Yeah,
so thank you so much.
Well, wait, now we're not done yet.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Wait a second.
Bob set the bar yesterday.
No, wait.
What
is going on here?
I brought plastic bags for you.
Oh, beautiful. I always need a new plastic bag.
New plastic
what do you have in these bags?
Well, I have, first of all, here it's in an envelope. We have a souvenir collection. These are the collector's edition of postcards, scenes from Adams County.
Nice. Oh my gosh!
Particularly from Friendship.
Nice.
Yes, we have that.
Oh, these are
maybe
great.
We'll be in the next edition.
Yeah. There you go. You can share those, and then we have what I'm wearing.
Oh, nice.
We have from you the
some T-shirts.
T-shirts.
Thank you.
From the Y Club.
Okay.
Now the Y Club it's now called Inn of the Pines. Was located on 13 and 21 near your billboard.
Ah, yes. Okay. Thank you.
So anyway, it was in the 1950s, 60s. You were an adult. It wasn't a place for kids. This was the place to go on Friday nights in Adams County. You got in your Chevy Impala that you bought at the Chevy dealer or your Ford Fairlane, and you went that you bought in Friendship, by the way. And you drove up there for Friday night, maybe a fish fry or surf and turf.
The Y Club.
The Y Club. You would have a bar, food and cocktails, and you would have a brandy Alexander. Oh no, brandy old fashioned. I'm sorry, because it's particularly if you're from Wisconsin. It's brandy. It's not whiskey.
I did get a note from a listener who lives in Wisconsin. She said you have to have the old fashions, and I didn't realize that was a regional thing.
That's yes, and it's a brandy old fashioned if you're from Wisconsin, and so. We have all of that. You can take that with, and we have the final thing. Again, since this is we are a historical society.
Okay, let me help.
And it's within our power.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness gracious!
It is within our power to designate historic sites.
This is banana.
And so we ordain and designate the your billboard site as an official county historic site in perpetuity. From this date, yes.
So even in about a month, when we're no longer paying our lease on it and they take it down, it will still be an important historical site.
It'll be
here
on our
in
list.
Friendship, Wisconsin. This is an incredible thing. Now I was wondering, is the billboard supposed to be upside down?
If we get a tornado.
Is this like people fly the American flag upside down to signal distress?
Yes.
We're flying the TBTL billboard upside down to signal distress. This is so great, Michael. Thank you so much. I love this.
That is amazing.
This is absolutely one of a kind.
And we have 80 of these throughout the county. So
sites.
But yes, you're joining the ranks of the Leola Ditch and Dead Horse Creek.
Wow.
And the tiny, long gone community of Mars. You will all
Mars, Wisconsin?
all historic sites.
And now the TBTL billboard location will be one of them.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That is such an honor.
Thank
you,
you,
Michael.
All right. Okay.
Well, thank you. This is we'll scan this and we'll get it up on the website, and then we'll all fight over who gets. I have our the Little League, because we did end up finding a Little League team that would sponsor us, or that would allow us to sponsor them, and I have that at my house. So maybe this can go in your studio, Andrew. We'll figure it out. But this is a great honor, Michael. Thank you again.
Amazing.
We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Michael.
That's Michael Gock, the president of the Adams County Historical Society. Our wonderful hosts for the week. Yes,
that's pretty amazing. Listeners are definitely digging that on the YouTube channel. I will say.
Should we let this caller on the air who's been waiting for roughly 100 years?
Yes. Let's see here. Who do we have on the line?
I can't find my phone call.
Do you want me to do
sound,
the
so
imitation of it?
Sure.
Ahoy hoy.
Pretty good. Hi, you're
Thank
on TBTL-a-Thon. Who's this?
Oh, hi, guys. It's Mariah.
Mariah from Chicago.
Yes, Mariah Spicer. Well, actually from Spring Green, Wisconsin.
Wait,
so
what?
I spend my summers here in Spring Green, Wisconsin. Yes, that's correct. And so I will see you tomorrow along with my sister, Leia, who is actually a full-time resident of Spring Green.
How far is Spring Green from where we're at?
I looked it up. I think it's like 52 miles, but like an
nice.
hour and a half drive.
Okay, but that's not bad. I mean,
so we're really excited.
were you when you figured out or heard that we were going to be coming to Wisconsin, a place you would already be spending part of your summer? Were you like, oh wow, that's really fortuitous?
I think it was a little more than oh wow. It was more like, are you kidding me? I was blown away. Well, first I was just excited about the billboard. I was like texting Leia. I was like, we gotta go on a field trip. And then imagine my delight. Imagine my surprise. And I was like, they're gonna be there. This is great.
And that was before you knew that the billboard was a historically preserved site of note here in Adams County, one of only 80 such places.
Yes. What a guy. Michael was awesome. I loved
know.
Bob yesterday, too. I think you're getting a taste of Wisconsin. But, hey, I have to say something. So my sister, Leia, she was the one actually trying to get on today. And she sent me a list of several things she wanted to talk to you guys about.
Oh my gosh.
So should I add her into the call, or should I just try to go through these?
I've tried to add her into the call. Can you do that? Can you
right, I'm gonna
merge
throw her
the
in.
call?
Okay. Wow.
I think so.
This is
I think
high-tech.
so. If you lose me, then I don't know what to say. But I'm gonna try to add her. This is not very easy to do.
No, I know. I think I've successfully merged a call maybe once in my life.
And it was an accident.
Yes, exactly. Now, where's Leia at? Are you guys all staying out at the same place?
Are we there together?
Hello, Leia.
Oh, there's something merged.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh. That's a pretty bad connection, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Mariah, we hear
Leia,
you.
you're gonna have to get out of the basement.
God, if I had a nickel.
Mariah, you sound very clear. Leia sounds a little bit less clear.
She's in the basement.
How's this sounding?
So much better.
great.
Hi, Leia. Welcome to the show.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, guys.
This is great.
The Spicer Sisters, right here on TBTL. Okay, Leia, Mariah said that that you had given her a number of topics that you were wanting to sort of bring up with us. So I guess I would just say, let's do this.
Okay. Okay, the first one is, and I don't know if we have established this yet, but Wisconsin. Do we have a name for the listeners who come from Wisconsin?
Oh.
Do we?
Wiscontins? No?
I think I've seen Wiscontins.
Wiscontins is sort of like
Yeah.
almost there, but it's not quite
Is
there.
there something with Scotties? Like,
do you have a thought, Leia?
She's got a suggestion.
This is what I'm proposing. Is oftentimes I feel like the younger generation has really embraced Sonic as what we use for people.
Uh-oh, we're losing you
Why
again.
did you go back in the basement?
Move to where you were a second ago.
What I took from that.
God.
Now you sound.
There you are. There it
Leia,
is.
what I took from that was you're saying the younger
Better?
generation, yes, of people in Wisconsin have taken to using the term Scotties.
Yes, we've really embraced that. It feels very like native to us, and so I think Scon 10 It's a
Scontin.
great option for us.
Bart Scontin.
No, like Scontin.
Scontin. I can get down
I'm
with
on
that.
I'll co-sign that.
Sure. Should we take
I
a
think they're,
Should
like,
we take a vote
insider.
at the
It's
picnic
insider.
tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like tomorrow will be the largest concentration of Scontins we've
Leia
had.
has a whole list, so she needs to move through them.
Okay.
So then the other thing that I wanted to bring up with you guys is it sounds like you guys have been hitting your local watering hole.
Yes.
Somewhere, and that sounds great. But I don't know if you guys know, but when you're in Wisconsin and you order an old fashioned,
We just found this
what
out.
they make for you. Okay, you already know this.
No,
Okay,
we
what
just
they
found it
make
out
for
from
you is
Michael.
basically
Yeah.
just now
Yeah.
on the live show.
Does it have brandy?
Oh my
Does it have
God.
brandy?
The brandy thing?
Yeah, so you're gonna have basically Corbel and Sprite. That's what it is. Like it has an orange and it has a cherry in it, but it's brandy. So when you order an old
but what about the old-fashioned press, Leia? You got to get into the
Okay,
real
so
deep.
then there's like sweet. That would be like with like Sprite or 7-Up or Starry.
Isn't that like
or
a
something.
smash or
But
something?
Then sometimes people. What?
Don't they call that like a
Oh
smash?
no, then you go okay. And then
Sorry,
you can
I'm
get it sour. That's with like a grapefruit soda, like
Okay.
Squirt.
Okay.
And then press, okay, which is half soda water, half whatever the other thing is. So you can get a pressed sour or you can get a pressed sweet. But this is just something that like blew my mind, like a brandy old fashioned.
Yeah, right. So this is
crazy.
and there's a bunch of different ways to order, and that's all a Wisconsin thing. That's pretty much localized to this state.
As far as I know, it's basically a Wisconsin thing. So like
I think so.
Yeah, I lived away for like 10 years and I left like before I started going to the bars in Wisconsin. And so
She
then
was
when
13.
I came back
14
when
is
I
the drinking
came
age here,
back,
right?
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, exactly.
what is this? Okay, and then one other thing, I don't know if this exists everywhere, but most of these like local small town bars that you go into, they have something which is called Shake of the Day.
Shake of the
Okay,
day.
and it's like it's a dice
It's
game.
not ice cream.
Okay, and you gotta play $1 it's $1 to play.
Oh, sure.
And so you
This
give the
is-
bartender $1. They
Yeah.
put that in a jar,
Yes.
and then they give you 5 dice,
Yes.
and you get 1 shake per day. You slam it down on the bar. Okay?
Yes,
They were- they were
we
doing
have
this.
absolutely, Leia, Mariah. We've experienced this at It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere. We experienced it at the where else? The Slip-In.
They do it at the Slip-In yesterday?
I think they were doing it
Okay.
at the Slip-In yesterday. We've been seeing this in various places we've been. I sort of had a sense of what it might be, but I didn't know really what the rules were or how it exactly worked. We had a version of this at the Tattletale that I used to go to in L.A. playing dice. I'd play with Patty Parker.
It's-
But what are the rules?
Can I just jump in though and say one thing that you've told me makes me feel better about something? Because when we were at the 5 O'Clock Somewhere, they were playing the dice game, which I love. I love an at the bar dice game, but I thought they were being kind of obnoxious all the way down
Slamming
there.
it.
They were slamming it down so hard, and I thought it was like sometimes like our friend Cassie accuses people of sneezing too loud just for attention. I thought it was just sort of a sort of an attention grab or sort of obnoxious in a certain way. But no, this is part of the culture. If you're playing, you're supposed to slam it down as hard as possible.
Yeah, you got to slam. It's something about good luck when you slam it down. Everybody does it.
okay,
if you
that's
don't,
good to
you
know.
look like an outsider.
Oh, no.
You got to
Slam.
slam it.
Gotta
Oh my
slam
Some
it.
kind of quiet roll. No.
No. A meek, shy roll, which is probably what I would do.
You know that I would have done that. I would have taken the dice carefully out and set them down.
Now, can I ask, what's the goal? Is it to get all sixes? How do you win?
It depends on the bar that you're at. They'll have different house rules, and you should ask what they are before you play. But
Yeah.
usually it's to get all, I think it's 5 dice. Usually
Yes.
it's all 5 the same.
Okay, and is it sometimes
it's
are there
really rare.
and do you get to pick up? So do you get to slam and then pick up and then slam again?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It depends on the bar. Sometimes you
Okay.
get 2, sometimes you get 3.
Okay. Well, listen, you two. First of all, I'm so excited to see both of you tomorrow at the event. This is making me even more excited for it. I think probably we've reached the end of the life cycle of your phone.
Yes.
It's becoming increasingly difficult to hear you. So we'll probably say goodbye for now, but we will see you in a mirror. I mean, I want to say it's like, what,
Like 28 hours or so.
28
if
hours,
that.
yeah.
We'll see you in 28
Yeah.
hours. Okay. And,
And
I don't know
bring
if
your bring
We
your
are
bring your
so
list
looking
with you.
forward to it.
we are so looking forward to seeing
And
you.
Leia was wondering if it was a potluck and if she could bring a classic TBTL dish, the Sean Vittori Praline fish.
Oh my gosh!
goodness.
I mean, legally, I can't stop you.
It's a public park.
Yeah, you're allowed to do whatever you want. We are going to provide. We're going to provide food and drinks for folks, as in like soda pop and stuff like that. So if we're not trying to turn it into a potluck, but if you want to get creative and bring something that's part of TBTL lore, you're certainly welcome to do that.
Absolutely.
Wow.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll see you all tomorrow. It's been a great week of programming, guys.
All right, thank
you
you
so much.
Thank you,
Good
Spicer
talking with
Sisters.
All right.
Both of you.
Love them.
That's great. That's absolutely great. Now, Luke, my question for you is, are you ready for a Blur's Day?
There's a right way to rock and a wrong way to roll. You can just listen to your soul. Just remember that life is number one. You can be having so much fun. Just remember that life is much fun. You can be number one.
We have a lot of Blur's
I
Days
know, right?
today. A lot of Blur's
all
Days.
Thursdays for us to have an
Look at this
absolute-
list.
a passel of Blur's Days. Do we want to go back to the old school of? Do we want to bounce back and forth?
Can
a
you
little bit?
read from
Yeah,
where you are? Your
absolutely.
eyes are so good.
Well, here's the thing: if they were closer, if your computer screen were closer to me, I couldn't read it. But I'm actually at the
oh,
right
really?
distance.
Oh, I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say bring it closer to you. Okay, well, let's get through these.
All right.
I see our follow-up interview is here. We're going to be
we have
interviewed
Harriet
further
who's
for
on the
newspaper
move
later. Yes.
who wants to do it for everybody in this town is just slowly finding out what a truly interesting story TBTL is.
Yes,
and
right.
finally we're being appreciated.
No, they keep on digging because they're like, there's got to be a story here somewhere. We're just not seeing it. But let's get to these Blur's Days
All right.
first. Maya says, happy Blur's Day to my friend Lisa in Bend, Oregon. It's been 9 years since she casually mentioned that she listened to a niche podcast called TBTL, and we've been co-listeners ever since. I love the idea of co-listeners.
Nice.
Like Mariah and Leah, right?
Exactly.
I'm grateful.
Leia.
Leia, sorry about that. I knew as soon as I started that sentence, I'm like, uh-oh. I'm grateful for her friendship and great taste in audio entertainment. Hope to see you back in Seattle soon.
Angela from Ohio says, we'd like to wish the very happiest 17th birthday to our 5, Pemberley. Whether you are working, Pemberley sounds like a drink that you could order here in Wisconsin after
Yes.
maybe you've had enough old fashions.
Yes.
I want a half Pemberley smashed. Whether you're working on your schoolwork or saving lives as a lifeguard, you always do your best. Keep up the great work. Love, Mom and Dad.
Love that.
Sweet.
Happy Blur's Day, Pemberley.
Work on that rear passive and rear active saves, Pemberley. Those come in handy.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah.
Kathy in Olympia says, happy Blur's Day to Cecilia in Atlanta.
Hey, we talked to Cecilia on the Zoom last night.
That's right. From your book buddies. Of course, Cecilia is the organizer of the TBTL Book Club. So this is from your book buddies, Christine in Santa Fe and Kathy in Olympia. We're so glad TBTL and our love of reading brought us together.
Get ready for some Susie B in your life. All right, Cecilia.
I just
If
realized.
that sounds familiar,
That's
it's
right.
because this is the person we were just referencing. It says, happy birthday to my 11, Ryan, and to me. It's a classic self-blursing
I
going on here.
know.
The TBTL-a-Thon is a perfect birthday week celebration, and what y'all do is so important. Loved seeing all the Tens and Biz Boys on the Zoom last night. Love the Slack channel, the Stens page, and of course the book club. FYI, the next book. Oh, this is big, y'all. You're hearing what the next...
That's right.
See how quickly I slip into y'all talk because
Yeah.
Cecilia's doing it?
Yeah.
The next book club book is All the Colors of the Dark, and we'd love to see more Tens. You don't even have to finish the book or have finished the book in true TBTL fashion. There are a lot of tangents. Nice.
Happy Blur's Day, Cecilia and Ryan. And thanks for doing that for real. Adam says, happy 20th Blur's Day to our middle hell spawn.
Wow.
I mean 5. Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. Is this a happy Blur's Day?
I love this, though.
All
I
right.
think it's time we have some straight talk for these children.
Start getting real?
Yeah, seriously.
When the Blur's Days stop being polite and start getting real. Happy 20th Blur's Day to our middle hell spawn. I mean 5. We're so proud of the amazing adult that you're becoming. And you must know that we love you because we came home from our road trip to see you on your birthday rather than going to Friendship, Wisconsin and hanging out with Luke and Andrew, who would at least pretend to be nice to me and not roll their eyes until I left. Oh, Adam, it seems like your feelings are a little bit bruised, but you're very
I know the
happy
feeling, Adam.
to wish a happy Blur's Day to your 5.
And it's not too late.
Yes.
To head for, you could make for Friendship, Wisconsin and be here by nightfall. Brad says, I'd like to wish a 44th happy Blur's Day to my lovely wife and 10, Whitney, from San Marcos, California. We've listened to TBTL now for over 10 years when she introduced me to it. And in that time, excuse me, I get emotional thinking about them.
I know.
In San Marcos, listening to the show. In that time, we've quoted drops from the show in our daily conversations, much to the chagrin of our two lovely girls. This really is shaping up to be a very... It's a pitched battle between the parents and their children. Much to the chagrin of our two lovely girls, happy birthday to an amazing wife and mother from Brad.
Nice. Cute. Brandon says, my wife Ariel has been a TBTL listener since the beginning. We were right by where your billboard went up just a couple of days beforehand. So close. Her birthday is coming up this Sunday, so I wanted to say happy birthday, Ariel, and Brandon, and from Brandon and Charlie.
Are you kidding me right now? Cassandra is saying happy Blur's Day to Sarah in Portland. It feels like forever since we met in Seattle for the 4,000th episode.
Oh.
Feels like forever since we did that episode.
Yeah, that's 3 years ago now.
I'd love to come down to visit, but who knows if I'd end up in Portland or El Salvador. Time to come back to Canada and sip tea like the Queen, I guess. Whatever you're doing for your special day this year, I hope it's filled with peace and love and good vibes and hope for kinder days. Big hugs and lots of love from your emotional support Canadian.
I could use an emotional support Canadian.
I'm taking applications.
Yeah. Kristen says, I want to wish Taylor.
Christina.
Pardon me?
Christina, right?
No, I'm going to do Kristen first.
All right.
Kristen says, I want to
Do it
wish
your way.
Taylor in the ECOP neighborhood of Kansas City the happiest Blur's Day.
right.
I see. These are our Kansas City 10s, Taylor and Kristen.
Gotcha.
I'm so glad I slid into your DMs after seeing you wearing a Royals jersey in your 10 of the week photo. Now we're IRL friends, and you're dating my actual brother.
Whoa.
And
Wow.
you don't believe in a God? Life is weird, but I'm endlessly thankful you came into mine. I love these guys. Happy Blur's Day, Taylor.
Absolutely adorable. Christina says, we want to wish a happy 0th birthday to Ernest.
Ernest, congrats.
The importance of being this baby cannot be
right.
overstated. Ernest arrived on July 17th, but missed that week's Blur's Day segment. We are so in love with you, our darling little boy from proud mom and dad, Christina and Alex.
Oh, congrats, guys.
Great name, too. What
I
a great
love
name.
it. I really love it.
I can't wait till they send him to camp.
Yeah. David says, I'm proud to say that... Oh, this is David from the Smittens. That says, I'm proud to say that I just turned 50 years old. I'm not one of those gals who's afraid to hide her age, unlike some of those other gals. And I like to kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50
Sally O'Malley.
Blurs old.
Happy Blur's Day, David. Elise says, hey guys, I thought I'd celebrate my 70th birthday by finally sending in a Blurs message thanking y'all for fixing the loneliness in this Seattle transplant's heart. Florida is a wonderful place to live, but there's just nothing like a word from home. Best wishes and a happy heart on her Blur's Day.
Nice.
Happy Blur's Day, happy 70th, and we're so glad that you finally reached out and hope everything is going well in Florida and that lots of friends will be made in the near future. If it's not working out in Florida, I'd say come to Friendship, Wisconsin.
This is the place to be.
We're beating the friends off with a stick here. People are hoisting themselves at us trying to be our friends.
Exactly, and we're not even likable. All right,
Speak
that's
for
going to
yourself.
that is going to do it for the Blur's Days today. What a good
that was
batch.
fun.
Yeah.
It's just been such a great week of community and new friends and old friends and people having Blur's days and talking to the Spicer sisters and learning about the history of Adams County. It's been great. Again, if you have had a chance to support the show this week, thank you very much. It's the only way that we can keep doing this. If maybe you haven't and you've been on the fence, I don't know what more we can do at this point. Like, there are some thons where it's like, I understand if people don't donate. Like, I'm like, I get it. This is not one of them. This has been, I mean, we were just sitting around in the Airbnb last night cavelling about how much fun we're having and how kind of just almost, I hesitate to use the word, how blessed this thon has been so far. So if you have been thinking about supporting the show at any level that feels right to you, go to tbtl.net and do that right now. We got a whole list of all the cool thank you gifts and all of those things. So thanks again.
Yes.
All right. That's going to do it for today's episode. But guess what? We have one final show from here in Friendship, Wisconsin coming your way tomorrow. So please do join us for that. In the meantime, have a great Thursday. Take care of yourselves. Go Mariners. And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to the Mariners.
Yes.
And us. And all.
Honestly.
Did we just become best friends?
Power out.